How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is RUFFLEDLIVE and welcome back to a brand new video, guys. Today we're going to be taking a look at some Pokemon news, so let's get started right away. First things first, ladies and gentlemen, we have this post right here coming to us from Soul Silver, who says, to go along with possible Pokemon Scarlet and Violet info being at Worlds, I agree that it's likely that we will get more info in the first week of September. What does he talk about? Well, basically, we're going to get more information about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet around the first week of September. I'm personally hoping for another trailer because the last one wasn't enough for such a big game, but it seems like a demo at one of these events is possible, and that was also mentioned by another person. But yeah, the Pokemon Company International will be present at the PAX West convention, which will take place in Seattle from September 2nd to 5th, to present the latest news from Pokemon from its franchise. At this point, it's unknown if any information from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet will be released as a demo. However, yes, they will be there. Note that a demo is strongly possible. As a reminder of 2018 and 2019, we were treated to a demo of Let's Go Pikachu Eevee, as well as Pokemon Sword and Shield. So it's most likely going to happen. They're going to be there. They've even, it's been officially confirmed they're going to be at PAX West, and they've done this before, so it's highly possible. But yeah, what do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comment section down below. We're going to come back to this topic a little bit later. We have a bunch of other stuff to still talk about in this video, because there is a lot of topics, so sit back. But first, before we do any of that, guys, a quick message from today's sponsor. Ladies and gentlemen, this video is brought to you by none else than Friends and Dragons. Ladies and gentlemen, Friends and Dragons is a difficult and unique, but also satisfying strategy RPG game that you can play on your mobile devices, including iOS and Android, of course. This is a game for hardcore strategy players where you have to do a lot of really tactical hero placements to make sure you do win. However, you get to progress through challenging campaigns. In this case, you got 30 chapters where you get rewarded with glory as well as loads of beautiful rewards. You can also go ahead and collect and upgrade heroes that you get as well, and different heroes have different abilities that will make them more unique in battle as well, which does come in handy. I mean, having a healer is definitely a recommendation. And I should also mention the game features great music. It is honestly fantastic and inspired by this kind of fierceness and glory they can feel from dragons themselves. And the game also features co-op gameplay. I should mention that as well. There's co-op gameplay, and of course you can make guilds and have social interactions, and we actually have our own guild which you guys can join right here, the Ruffled Lads. You guys can join us, be a part of it, do some co-op battles with us. Definitely join into the guild. Of course, I should mention that Friends and Dragons also has loads of limited time events that you guys can take part in. In this case, they currently have the Chase the Dragon event. This Chase the Dragon event is really unique because if you do it right now after completing the tutorial, you have a chance to get yourself a free, or actually you do get a free 4-star summoning scroll, which is fantastic. But also, I should also mention, ladies and gentlemen, that if you download Friends and Dragons from our link right now and scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description, then you will be able to get yourself 1 free summon, 4 days of synergy potions, and a daily free summon, as well as new seasonal summons. So ladies and gentlemen, what are you waiting for? Join in, play right now with all the available links, the QR code. Go right ahead, and thank you to Friends and Dragons for sponsoring this video. Let's get into the rest. So thank you to the sponsors of today's video, guys, and of course, thank you to them for supporting us. It helps keep this channel going, helps keep me alive, so thank you for that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's get back into the topic. So we talked about specifically when this is happening, that there's going to be some sort of event, but that's not all. We also have some other stuff, which is coming from Soul as well, saying pretty big news today. For those who missed it, apparently there will be a 20-minute long opening ceremony for the Pokemon World Championship when it starts on August 18th. I think it's highly likely we get some kind of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet info at Worlds, so this is a big candidate, which, yes, we'll be live for that, guys. We'll be there. We'll be ready. Here's what it says. I suspect we'll have some kind of Pokemon Presents. They may not call it that. At the World's opening ceremony, it will last 20 minutes. Possible content: Scarlet and Violet, Pokemon cards, Scarlet and Purple Pokemon cards, I guess, confirmed. Ads by Pokemon Unite, and an anniversary of Pokemon Masters. So, a lot of possibilities, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, they could also add news from other games. The most likely candidates are Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I don't know why it's purple. I guess it's translated from Spanish. Then Pokemon Go and Pokemon Cafe Remix. Perhaps they will surprise us with something else that we do not expect. We'll have to be attentive and pay attention. So yes, there is apparently going to be some stuff, and this is coming from Melkor, who runs Poke Experto, who is a reliable source when it comes to this official kind of news. So if it's official kind of news, you can trust pretty much what he says, and he's saying that we should stay alert that something may or may not happen in regards to this, and that we should just be ready for it, right? Just be ready for possible news coming our way. So just wanted to point that out, let you guys know about it. And yeah, what do you guys think about this? Your thoughts and opinions would be appreciated. I do think we will be seeing a demo, as we saw already, like from this. The fact they're going to be at PAX West, I think that already confirms for us more or less that we're going to most likely see a demo, okay? We're most likely likely going to see a demo of sorts returning, so that makes total sense. However, on the other side of things, I do think also that during this ceremony, that is 20 minutes long, by the way, opening ceremony, it's probably going to be a bunch of dancing, singing, that kind of stuff, but also possibly some information or some little teaser for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which I think is highly likely, ladies and gentlemen, highly likely. But, of course, everything is up in the air for now. Either way, spoilery, lol, we've been speculating the same thing for months now. I really like how Farid sounds, though. What is he talking about? Well, basically, he's here looking at a post. I think this post came from Kaka. I think it's from the leaker Kaka. If you guys do not know who Kaka is, he's a leaker that started posting stuff back in June and has been correct about quite a lot of stuff. Not everything. I mean, he basically posted leaks of all of the gym leaders in the game. But either way, he has been a little bit incorrect on some stuff, but mostly he is correct. And basically, he gave us hints, I guess. I think he gave us these hints. I could be wrong here. It could be from Ku as well, but I think it's from Kaka. Basically, name hints for how you should expect some of the names of certain Pokemon to look like. So, for example, if you have Eevee, you know, a new name for it, or like an evolution for it, would be something like EVVVV or EVV, you know, and then Tail would be Tailiat, and then Koala would be Koala Lauk, which is like basically reusing the beginning part or the middle part of the name, reusing that, you know, for the rest of the name, basically reusing the middle part, removing the first letter. Basically, that's kind of what it looks like, is what it is, or inverse, reverse of like a few letters in there. So basically, for Farajirif, I guess would be like a possible name for, like, I guess the Giraffric evolution, which I mean, hey, it's always possible, right? It's always possible, ladies and gentlemen. It's always possible. You never really know, but we'll have to wait and see if anything pans out from that as well. Of course, anything's possible in this world. So we continue over to the next thing. Coming to us from Soul Silver, who says, big thank you to Delta. Again, Delta does great work putting together theories and stuff, and we're going to be checking out their profile as well if there is anything worthwhile to cover there, because there is quite a lot that is posted usually. So here we go. Thank you to Delta and Mami for keeping a close eye on Omura, and you all should too. Most of these are clear hints to me, but more importantly, this could mean that Omura is the art director, or at least heavily involved with Scarlet and Violet. That makes me excited. Now, what does he talk about? Well, Omura is one of the main people over, or one of the biggest people over at, you know, Game Freak, who works there. And if you look at like all these thingies on the screen right here, these are all things he's retweeted, just random things he retweeted that seem oddly specific and oddly being hinting possibly at all the like leaks we've been talking about. Like, for example, with the penguins, with the Cayman Rider thing, which we know there's a Pokemon that's based on that. Even like Denki and Fish and Chips is for Cramorant in this case. He did that for Sword and Shield, I guess. The Parakeet, with the Parakeet right there, because you know there's a Parakeet Pokemon. The coins, which also makes sense because we do know there's going to be some kind of coin Pokemon. The regional fake tentacle with the mushrooms, that's there too. And yeah, a bunch of stuff. Even like the little pouch over there. If you guys see the pouch like right next to my face here, right here. Okay, I'm going to take my camera off so you guys can see it. But that pouch, the mouth, on, like it's like a mouth pouch, like, you know, a wallet thing. That literally looks like the head thingy at the back of like normal giraffe rig. That's basically engulfing this giraffe rig's head too. So yes, he's done this kind of weird stuff where he's hinted stuff. I mean, he even hinted kind of at the whale here, if you can't tell, by like retweeting this as well, which is a literal whale, like, you know, whatchamacallit, whale, I guess. What's the right word here to use? Skeleton? There we go. But yeah, so either way, we continue on. So if you didn't know, Omura is a former Game Freak designer. He's an important person who still designs some of the Pokemon. This is a compilation of his retweets, and yeah, there you go. So what do you guys think about all this? It is quite interesting, and some of these were also, as this person mentions, from 2018 during Sword and Shield's development. It could just be a coincidence, but thing is, 2018 is pretty much when they would have been finishing up a lot of the, I mean, a lot of the, like, you gotta understand, they were probably still working on, you know, Sword and Shield in 2018, but the actual concept of the Pokemon and the world and stuff like that should have, for the most part, been done, right? Like, what Pokemon were going to be in there, the choices for what Pokemon were going to be in there was probably already finished. Like, the decision on what Pokemon should have been in there should have already been done. And Soul says, oh, good catch, I didn't realize that. I'm so convinced that he had these designs for a long time now, so anything is possible. Also, many of these are him retweeting them recently, even though they are old tweets. Which is true. 2018 would have been near the middle end of Sword and Shield's development anyways. I would think that a designer would be working on the next project at that point. Exactly. So it doesn't matter, because the people that do the designs, they will not be sitting and, like, you know, fine-tuning them forever, because there is at some point where, like, okay, this is the design, this is it, now we run with it, right? They're not going to be redesigning it 24/7. I mean, there's always that chance. I mean, especially back in the day when they used sprites. I think with sprites, it was easier for them to kind of be like, okay, maybe we can remove this and change it out to a different sprite or something, right, in terms of design. But now it's different. Now you have to make 3D models, which are more time-consuming, as in my opinion, and as far as I know, should be a more time-consuming endeavor. And that's why I think, like, once you've made a design, once the concept art is done and the design has been approved by everyone, that has to go through the chain of command, right? Like, once everybody signed off and said, yep, this design is fine, check mark, yes, check mark, it's good, then they make the 3D model and everything, and by that point, the designing phase is done. You don't do any more designing. You've done the designing of the Pokemon. You are done. Okay, you're donezo with it. Which, in my opinion, would mean that, like, the regular development, the part where they're actually going to be programming the game and the stuff that takes usually the longest amount of time, that is the stuff that requires the most amount of time, because you have to make sure you don't have glitchy code or bugs or errors within your like coding. That's the stuff that takes the longest amount of time. And because of that, that stuff is the stuff that they're still doing, in 2018 and even parts of 2019 when Sword and Shield was coming out. Same thing with Scarlet and Violet right now. Right now, I'm pretty sure that they are not, like, fundamentally redesigning everything in the game, at the last pace. Like, right now, a lot of the biggest issues is maybe, like, removing a few aspects, changing a few things around. Sure, 3D models can still be changed, but I think most of the Pokemon designs are more or less final. I think most of the Pokemon designs are more or less final. Now, of course, that's not guaranteed. And I will say one thing. There's a reason that's not guaranteed. And I'm going to show you that in a bit, because there's always a chance that they can make changes, and big changes actually, or temporary changes between one period and another. That's always possible. But anyway, so we continue on down again, and we've already looked at this. But what do you guys think about this? Let me know. But we're going to get back to that topic in a bit, guys. So either way, next up is this right here from Soul. Says, now these are kind of the kind of things I like to see. I really hope it's the first one, but it's probably the most ridiculous one related to Gen 5 with I guess, a chess piece. Evo, it's the Samurai. By the way, there is no bug Samurai, shaking my head, lol. It's a knight-like, I was always assumed. But basically just saying that, like, we're going to be getting some sort of bug Pokemon that's going to be kind of, I guess, like a knight rather than a samurai. I don't really know. And somebody asks here, for anyone that doesn't know, is any of these related to Nobunaga? And then Camila says, don't know about the first one, but the three last ones are Kimoyasa Kato, who was a child/teen during Nobunaga's reign, but was in service to Hideyoshi. Takatora Todo, same story. And Masamune Date, a daimyo under Hideyoshi's reign, a loyal ally of Ieyasus during his reign. But yeah, I don't know if that's in any way connected to Nobunaga. I mean, they love to just shove Nobunaga in whatever they can. I mean, they even did that in Pokemon Conquest, right? So, like, they love to shove Nobunaga in. Like, they're big fans of him in Japan. They like using him in all kinds of manga, literature, whatever you want to call it. It's everywhere. Everywhere you can imagine, Nobunaga is present, okay? But either way, so we move on to the next thing, which is this right here. If it looks like anything to the one on the left, it may be one of my favorites this generation. So, basically, this was from the Foxomorox, who basically said that if we're going to be getting a sushi Pokemon, and it might be a dragon type, could it literally be a, like, dragon roll? You know, guys know, like, if you think about, like, sushi, there's, like, dragon rolls, right? Like, dragon roll sushi. Is it possible that we're literally going to be getting essentially that, like, a sushi Pokemon that's like a dragon roll in a sense? You know what I mean? Like, kind of like this in a way, like this one. What do you guys think about that? I'm kind of curious to see how this is going to turn out, and if this is going to be like the case, because it is an interesting possibility. But I do wonder, man. I do wonder if they're going to do that. I have seen some really cool designs that a few people have made, some really sick designs. I think if we actually check out specifically, I think Pokesutami actually has a post that they put out that actually features I think one of these designs. I just need to find the post. I think it was Pokesutami or yeah, here it is. So from their thumbnail, you guys can see right here a really awesome, like, sushi type dragon Pokemon almost. These guys, I'm gonna take away my camera, but you guys can see right there. You can check out Pokesutami's video that goes further in on this. Because it goes further in on this topic. But here you go, guys. Kind of like this image that that was posted. You know, this was made by a person called Princess Phoenix on Twitter, or sorry, on DeviantArt. But this basically shows you an idea of what a sushi-like Pokemon could literally look like. So we're gonna keep that open as well. But yeah, what do you guys think about this idea? I personally think it's highly possible that we're gonna be getting that, based on the fact that this has been told to us by the leakers. So anything is possible, ladies and gentlemen. Anything is possible. We move on to the next thing, though, which is, I guess, quite an interesting one, to say the least. It is quite an interesting topic, which is this right here. So this was posted by Dren, so Dry Droz, who basically said the following. This makes sense, I guess. Well, basically, what are they talking about? Well, they have this picture right here where they kind of try to put together, if you look at all of the, you know, I guess the professors or whatever you want to call them and all of them, if you look at them and you kind of just look at it from this objective, that basically the professors from Scarlet and Violet are in the past or the future, but they're stuck there. Pretty much they've somehow ended up in the past or the future, and they're stuck there in some way. So as you guys can see right here, they're in the past and the future, and then depending on the version of the teachers that is trapped in the past or in the future, you have to do missions to collect objects and send them to them with Koraidon or Miraidon, because Koraidon Miraidon might be able to travel through time, you know, to the past or the future, to the two professors to help them out, right? Since only Pokemon can travel through time, they communicate with you through the TV that serves as a wormhole every time a distortion is generated on the screen of this one. So each time you send Koraidon Miraidon with the necessary items, they return with new abilities such as sprinting, flying, or gliding, swimming, and climbing. And then we have, you know, Arven, who basically is a lost one of one of these, like, you know, of one of these, you know, characters. He says fathers here. I don't know why fathers is the one, but I think this is one of the present, like, basically Arven is the present version of the two professors, right? Arven is the present version of the two professors, and basically you are going to be communicating with them through a TV, and they're in the past or they're in the future, and you're going to be communicating with them literally through, like, the television, same way that we saw, like, the references to, for example, the microwave from Steins Gate that was hinted to by Ridley-Coo, and for example the lake house as well that was hinted by Ridley-Coo, which has, like, some kind of object that's like, he literally said that's a part of the story, that's a part of the plot, is there's probably gonna be something like that. So probably an object that we can communicate with someone in the past or the future with, in this case, because if it's, you know, Turo in the future, then we're technically in the past, and if it's Pasada or Sada, then she's in the past, so we're in the future technically. So basically, Arven is the present version of these two people, the present version of these two individuals, and it kind of is a literal paradox Pokemon, like the future or past Pokemon that we have, a version that exists in present time, and those two are the other paradoxes that exist, or like the literal versions from the future and the past. So I'm curious to see if this is going to be the case. There are a few, like, you know, possible theories here, and we do also see, like, right here, the television, and then the glitch out, and then we have, like, of course, you know, the glitch out, and then we have the two teachers or the two professors, which is interesting. I'm curious to see how this is going to turn out. I'm really curious. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, Aura does say here, I like the theory about the legendaries getting their abilities back, but that piece about communicating through a TV is not possible with the ancient people because the TV didn't exist in that time. Well, it's not that she has to be ancient. I mean, Pokemon history is a bit complicated. Pokemon history, ancient in Pokemon can be like 50 years ago, okay? Ancient in Pokemon can be 50 years ago. And I mean, if you've seen stuff like even like Naruto, it's a weird thing where, like, they mix, like, you know, present time with past time. Like in Naruto, it's like, it looks like it's, you know, like Edo era Japan, right? With like the samurais running around and stuff. Meanwhile, they have TVs, right? Which is a little bit jarring. But Pokemon is kind of similar in that way, that aspects of it feel like they're really like, you know, in like the past, but in reality they're just kind of this weird warped, you know, time. So basically Turo might just be like, you know, communicating from the future with a really high-tech thingy. Meanwhile, you know, Sada might be, you know, communicating with a really, you know, small thing. Also, what does the TV have to do with anything? Because we are the ones looking at the TV. They're not using a TV to communicate with us. They're using a camera, most likely, or some sort of device that can, like, communicate with us. Nonetheless, I think it's still possible, because Pokemon's history is very short. It's very limited. So, you know, the past isn't as far back as you might assume it to be. That's the way I'm looking at it. But anything is possible at the end of the day, so we'll see what happens with that. Nonetheless, the next thing is, this is coming to us from Light, who says, today I'm going to be bringing a theory about Koraidon Miraidon's forms. I'm going to explain the ones we know and how we could potentially obtain them. This means we don't have all of them from the beginning. I also mention, I will mention which one could be missing and their usefulness. Let's go. So, first of all, we have to know that this Pokemon will be obtained by Sada or Turo. This first photo in their normal form, remember the running shoes, in this form you go faster than running. As you can see in the description of the website, it says if you learn how to ride and full speed. So, of course, we have the starting point where we get to receive them in their regular little ride forms, or in their regular form. So, sprinting build and drive mode. Traveling through Paldea on foot can be quite a hassle. If you learn how to ride sprinting build Koraidon or drive mode Miraidon, you'll be able to traverse the expansive Paldea region more freely at full speed. Sprinting Koraidon, it may look like a motorcycle, but it uses its powerful legs to run on all fours. In drive mode Miraidon accelerates by generating energy in its tail and throat, which transforms into wheel-like rings. So, you know, there you go. Nonetheless, the next point is, of course, I mean, you guys know, we're getting the running shoes, etc. That's going to be like probably the first thing you'll get is this thing. It is a condition. When this, with this, we deduce that all the forms will have to be achieved through somehow. You remember the 3 big stories. This is one. To recover all the powers of Mira and Korra, or Miraidon Koraidon, here we will help and challenge Arven. Curiously, his appearance is similar to Sada and Turo. You see, the plant of the trailer that is also on top of the tower, or the one shown in the trailer, maybe this plant will help to recover the power of Koraidon Miraidon. The nearest red tower will be our first challenge. So, you guys can see right here, there's a little flower thingy inside of there, a little crystal-looking flower thing, and that's with Arven, and that's a side story, and that same flower thingy is on the top of that tower right there as well, which I think is a different one than the one we saw earlier that Arven and the character were looking at, and this tower is like, I guess, pretty early on, literally in the beginning of the game, which is why we're going to be able to instantly get one of the drive modes, right, one of the, modes. So, on Paldea's map, there are 4 towers scattered around the map, each one for a different power: sprinting, scale, swim, and glide. Maybe we'll do it in the way we want, or maybe there'll be some sort of conditions to it, right? So, for example, this one right here might be trial of the sprint and drive mode. Then this one, trial of the swim and aquatic mode, because it's, kind of an aquatic looking one. This will be trial of the scale mode, so scaling up like mountains and stuff like that. And then the trial of the glide mode. So this would be, the one for like, gliding and flying and stuff like that. It is on the top of a cliff though, so, I mean, a lot of these are, to be fair. Then he says, in these towers, we may have to do flying challenges like in Genshin Impact. Maybe we have to complete all of them to gain the flying form. Maybe they are checkpoint towers as in Zelda, right? So that is possible. Again, these towers are a bit confusing because not all of them seem like the same. They seem a bit different in some sense, but nonetheless, we continue on. Yeah, I mean, it could be the case that is what's going to be happening, but we are missing the most powerful one, the battle/flying form, the final form of our boys, the one we will battle with them and fly in all of the map with. We'll obtain it late game, but this form, I am confident, will hide something more. I will spoil something big here later. So yeah, they're talking about basically like, if you look at these boys, like, just their regular, like, their versions that are not like the flyable, the versions that are flying around, or what, I mean, the versions that are used for riding, but the actual battle versions. Ready to go to the past and future after post-game. We already know that in the game will be a past and future Pokemon like Ultra Beasts. Will there be some kind of temporal space, time holes, or mirage spaces, Ultra Wormholes to catch them in? We will see, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the theory. So, what do you guys think about that? I do think a possible wormhole existence is highly likely. Something like that could happen. I mean, literally, we're talking about a game where, like, traveling time is literally present. So, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. I think highly possible we're going to be getting some kind of wormholes to travel through. Again, gonna have to wait and see how that actually turns out, but nonetheless, I do think it's highly possible. Next, we also have this, which was a hint towards the coin Pokemon, which is going to be a ghost type Pokemon, a ghost coin of sorts. We already know it's probably going to have an evolution as well based on what we were told by Ridley. So that's that. We move on to the next subject, which is this right here, which are images of new Pokemon. And people weren't really able to like figure out what it is. Like, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you want to check this out, just go check out Light Gotcha on Twitter, because he's got some of this. In fact, actually, why am I not following Light? There we go. So yeah, just go check out his profile, because Light's got like basically these images posted, and it doesn't really show much. It might be hinting, like, showing a little bit of maybe the sushi Pokemon, but that's barely visible. It's really blurry, so I'd recommend just going over there and checking that out. Then we have this point right here from Light, which is, if you guys look at this, and he says, the third trailer versus the second trailer, spot the differences. If you look at them, and you actually look at the differences between them, you will notice that one is missing, well, straight up missing. If you look behind the Quoxley there is no tower in one of them, okay? There's no tower behind the Quoxley in that one, like literally no tower in the back. And then also what's missing on the other one, on like, the right side here one. So the one on the right is this one, and then on the left is this other one. This one's missing the tree on the left as well. There's no tree there, as well as some foliage that you can see like in the background. There's some foliage missing as well. And overall, there's a lot of stuff. Like, if you look even, like, you know, there's a flower missing behind, like, the Pokemon right there. Like, literally, like, right behind, underneath, like, Quaxly's arm on the left there. There's, like, a yellow flower that wasn't there before. So, yeah, clearly this shows, like, that there is quite a few differences, you know, between this, you know, this version of trailer and the other version of the trailer. They clearly do make changes, and there are some, you know, minor things that are actually different. Like, there are some changes that will happen in there. So that's just something you should keep in mind. We'll have to wait and see, of course, how that pans out in the long run. But nonetheless, there is quite a lot to pay attention to there. So keep that in mind, ladies and gents. And yeah, I don't think there really is much we've missed, though. I think there are a few posts from Delta that really don't, like, you know, I don't really think there's much we can look at just here, just now. But I guess, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, what do you guys think about all this? Here's also a map breakdown from Delta, who says the G is for Jim for the first story, V is for Villain, the second story, and A is for Arvin's quest, the third story, and J is for the sub-legends. So in this case, I guess the G's are all like around here, 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 and here. So that's the 8 gyms. Then we have the Arvin stories, which are all about, like, 5 of them around those thingies. I guess those are, wait, are the A's for, yeah, those are for Arvin, and V are for villains. So that's 1, 2, only those 2 apparently. And the J's are for, like, I guess the sub-legendaries, which I don't know if that's the case. I feel like this is missing a few spots, but it is what it is, though. There's also this right here, which is from Zodiac Cooler or Riddler Coup, who said WYLB species. And as pointed out by Delta, says the China's 4 major fishes: the white Amur, Lian Yu, Yong Yu, and the blue or black carp. Trivia: in Japan, TV shows about draining and cleaning ponds are extremely popular. These fish are well known for this TV show. Harmful fish. This show, TV show, is the same broadcaster as the Pokemon anime. So, yeah, I guess, I mean, I don't know if they're going to be based on these, like, fish specifically. I mean, again, I don't know if we're talking about the sub-legendaries in this case or what it is, but as mentioned here, the third image, a river dragon, is a river dragon with this logic, you know, a snake, or I guess a genie of sorts. And what are they talking about here? Well, basically, that the sub-legendaries could be also based on these fish. Don't really know if that's going to be the case, but it's always possible, right? It's always possible. So, what do you guys think about this? I want to know your thoughts and opinions. And again, even like, you know, Central Post is saying, information about the new sub-legendary quartet based on the old Leaker's riddles. It seems to be based on the 4 dragons from ancient China's lore: white pearl dragon, yellow dragon, large great dragon, and black dragon. Now, could it be based on that? It could be based on something else. I don't really know. And then, of course, the Bisharp evolution would, you know, I guess, look like one of these in some way. Don't really know. The new coin Pokemon we know is a ghost type, and the new Sushi is a dragon water type. So, yeah. This is a lot, man, but we don't really know. So what are you guys' thoughts and opinions on all this? Let us know in the comment section down below. Of course, there is some stuff here that we've kind of went through a bit already. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be pretty much it for the video, guys. If you did enjoy, then drop a like down below. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Bye-bye.